There are 34 inmates on Arkansas's death row. While they wait to die, their victims' families wait for justice. Arkansas has executed 27 death row inmates since 1976, but none in the last 10 years. And tonight, the future or the end of Arkansas's death row inmates remains trapped in a limbo of litigation.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
Time moves slowly on death row. The average length of time between the sentencing and the execution is 18 years. It's been 25 years since Don Davis murdered Jane Daniel in her Rogers home.
She was a very loving, beautiful, giving person.
2 years later, a jury convicted Davis of capital murder and sentenced him to death. That was 23 years ago.
It's as if the trial never ended. It'd be,
There seems to be a rhythm to a death sentence, and for the victims' families, the rhythm is a slow and painful grind.
My concern is that I think our justice system is broken. To have the jurors' decision ignored for 23 years, I think is outrageous.
The important thing for us to do in the state of Arkansas is give meaning to jury verdicts.
But many death penalty opponents find the moral foundation of a system based on killing as a form of punishment fundamentally broken.
We believe it is wrong to kill, and so we kill in order to make the point that it's wrong to kill. I don't think that makes sense. Our system is not perfect. We can't throw that stone, that switch, those medications. It's wrong.
According to the National Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty, since 1972, 1,413 people have been executed in the United States. And during that time, 155 people were exonerated.
Oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Found innocent and released.
That's a broken system. You can't kill people on the basis of a broken system. He who is without sin cast the first stone. This is a broken, sinful system. We don't have the right to take other lives.
Opponents maintain that racial disparity exists, and then there's the bottom line.
It's arbitrary, it's fiscally unsound. The death penalty costs about 6 times more than sentencing someone to die in prison. That's life without parole.
Even those who work to uphold, to implement, and to carry out the death penalty call it a broken system.
I fault the system.
Earlier this year, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson scheduled the executions of 8 men, and he says setting those dates triggered legal reviews.
But it all really depends upon the courts, and this is where you have judges that understand their role and they apply the law as well as the Constitution. So my responsibility is all I can control, and if I do not set a date, if I do not carry out my responsibility, then I can't expect someone else to do theirs either.
One of the men set to die on October 21st, Don Davis. It was the 5th time he would hold his breath as he was told the day and hour that he would die. It was the 5th time he would live to exhale.
It's not easy preparing to die. I've been through it so much. I've been locked up so long. I think it's the only way I'm going to be able to live is to die.
But for the family of Jane Daniel, her killer's death sentence has become a life sentence of waiting.
It's agony. We want an end to this.
the case is never over. It just keeps on going and going.
We have a cottage industry of attorneys who are dedicated to making the death penalty as arduous, as drawn out as humanly possible.
The litigation and the protests and the work that abolitionists do is because they have a belief that every life matters.
We need to protect society from the pathological. But when we begin to act like the pathological, when we intentionally, willfully kill people who are under our control, I think that's something dangerous to our corporate soul.
Well, the one thing that both opponents and proponents of Arkansas's death sentence do agree on is that this is a broken system.